Ever wondered why people say, let the cat out of the bag when there's no cat or bag in sight? Well, hold on to your hats because we're about to dive into the wild world of animal idioms. Ah, idioms. They're the spice of language, aren't they? These curious phrases, often with roots buried deep in history, add flavor, wit, and color to our conversations. In this video, we're going to explore some of the most popular idioms that feature our furry, feathered, and finned friends. So, what exactly is an idiom? It's a group of words that, when used together, have a meaning that's different from the individual words taken literally. They're a linguistic shortcut, if you will, a way to convey complex ideas or feelings in a punchy, memorable phrase. And why animals, you ask? Well, animals have always been integral to our lives and stories, and it's no surprise they've found their way into our language too. So buckle up, or should I say hold your horses, and let's have a fun ride through the jungle of words. First up we have, let the cat out of the bag. No, this has nothing to do with feline cruelty, thank goodness. This peculiar phrase is all about revealing a secret. Its origin traces back to Old English market days. When a piglet, which was considered a valuable commodity, was sold, it was usually given to the buyer in a sack. But if the seller was a bit of a trickster, he might sneak a cat into the sack instead. So, when the buyer let the cat out of the bag, the secret was revealed. Picture this. You're planning a surprise birthday party for your best friend. But, oops, you accidentally send the party invite to your friend instead of the guest list. You've just let the cat out of the bag and revealed the surprise. So next time you have a secret to spill, remember the poor imaginary cat? Ever heard of the early bird getting the worm? Well, it's not about breakfast habits. Let's dive into the world of idioms, where birds are early risers and horses need holding. The idiom, the early bird catches the worm, is all about proactivity. It dates back to the 16th century, when industrious folks noticed that the first birds up at dawn always got their pick of the best worms. Translated into human terms, this means that those who start their tasks early or who seize opportunities when they arise are more likely to succeed. For instance, imagine you're a student who starts studying for an exam weeks in advance rather than cramming the night before. You, my friend, are the proverbial early bird, and that passing grade is your tasty worm. But what about those horses we mentioned? Hold your horses is an idiom urging patience. It comes from the days when horses were the main mode of transportation, and literally holding your horses meant stopping them from running off. In modern usage, it's a gentle reminder to slow down, take your time, or wait for a more opportune moment. Imagine you're about to reveal a surprise birthday party to the guest of honor, but the cake isn't ready yet. Your friend, whispering "hold your horses," is simply asking you to wait for the perfect moment to unveil the surprise. So we've got a bird who's up at the crack of dawn, seizing the day, and a horse that's being held back, waiting for the right moment. These idioms may seem contradictory, but they're really about balance. Life requires us to know when to charge ahead and when to take a pause. Humorously enough, you might be an early bird when it comes to snagging those concert tickets as soon as they go on sale, but you're holding your horses when waiting for your favorite band to come on stage. So whether you're an early bird or a horse holder, remember, these idioms are more about attitude than animals. And that brings us to the end of the first half of our idiom exploration. Aren't these phrases fascinating? We've already met proactive birds, patient horses, and even flying pigs. But don't go anywhere because we've got a lot more in store for you. Have you ever wondered why cats are so curious or why chickens are prematurely judged? We'll be diving into these peculiar idioms in the next part of our video, so hold your horses, or you might let the cat out of the bag. Stay tuned and keep your curiosity piqued as we continue to unravel the captivating world of animal idioms. We promise it's going to be a wild ride. Pigs might fly, you say? Well, in the world of idioms, they do. Let's dive in and explore these wonderfully peculiar expressions. The idiom, "when pigs fly," is a way to say that something is never going to happen. It's like saying, sure, that'll happen when pigs sprout wings and soar through the sky. It's a colorful way of expressing skepticism or disbelief. Now, where did this phrase come from? It traces back to an old Scottish proverb which goes, "Pigs may fly, but it's not likely." Over time, this proverb has been shortened and is now commonly used in its current form. Let's put it into context. Picture this. Your friend says they're going to clean their room today. You've seen their room, and you know it's a disaster zone. You might laugh and say, "Yeah, that'll happen when pigs fly." In other words, you're saying it's highly unlikely that your friend will actually tidy up. Now let's shift gears to our second idiom for today. Kill two birds with one stone. It sounds a bit violent, doesn't it? But don't worry, no birds are harmed in the process. This phrase means to accomplish two tasks at once with a single action. Think of it as the ultimate multitasking strategy. The origin of this idiom is somewhat unclear, but it's believed to have originated from the story of a clever boy who actually managed to knock down two birds with one stone. Ever since then, the phrase has been used to symbolize efficiency and clever strategizing. Imagine you're on your way to the grocery store, and you decide to swing by the post office, which is on the same route to mail a letter. You have just killed two birds with one stone. You've accomplished two tasks on a single trip. So next time you're trying to do two things at once, just remember the poor birds. And remember, in the realm of idioms, pigs might just take to the sky. Ever been so curious you could kill? Well, turns out it could kill you too, if you're a cat, that is. Let's dive into the world of felines and their insatiable curiosity. The idiom "curiosity killed the cat" is a warning that poking your nose into others' affairs might lead to trouble. This phrase was first recorded in the late 19th century. The original version was a bit different though. It was "care killed the cat," where care meant worry or sorrow. But as time went on, curiosity took over, probably because cats are notoriously nosy creatures. Imagine, for instance, a cat so curious it can't resist exploring a tall tree, only to find itself stuck up there with no idea how to get down. It's hilarious, isn't it? But it also serves as a reminder that sometimes, it's best to leave well enough alone. Now let's switch gears and talk about counting chickens. Not literally, of course. The idiom, "don't count your chickens before they hatch," is a cautionary phrase that warns against making plans based on future events that may not happen. It's believed to have originated from Aesop's fables, ancient stories that have been teaching us life lessons for centuries. Picture this. You're planning a grand feast based on the eggs your hens are going to lay. You've invited all your friends, you've bought all the ingredients, but when the day arrives, your hens decide they're not quite ready to lay those eggs. It's a predicament, isn't it? A clear case of counting your chickens before they've hatched. So, what can we take away from these idioms? Curiosity is great, but not when it leads you into sticky situations. And it's okay to be hopeful, but don't bank on something that hasn't happened yet. In other words, balance is key. So stay curious, but don't start counting your chickens just yet. Ever felt like a fish out of water? Or noticed that some leopards never change their spots? Well, you're not alone. These old sayings are more than just animal references. They're idioms that have been used for centuries to describe human behavior. The phrase "a leopard can't change its spots" comes from the Bible, where it's used to emphasize that people can't change their essential nature, no matter how hard they try. Picture a leopard trying to scrub away its spots, or maybe even painting them a different color. Sounds silly, doesn't it? On the other hand, feeling like a fish out of water is something we've all experienced. This idiom originates from the obvious discomfort a fish would feel if it were suddenly plopped onto dry land. It's a quirky way of expressing that you're feeling out of place, or in a situation where you're not quite sure what to do. So, whether you're a leopard who can't change or a fish floundering on land, remember, it's all just a funny way of saying things. Alright folks, we're nearing the end of our journey through the fascinating world of animal idioms. Before we wrap up, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. We've seen secretive cats, proactive birds, and patient horses. We've met improbable pigs and multitasking birds, curious cats, and premature chickens. We've learned about leopards that can't change their spots and fish out of water. And finally, we've delved into the colorful world of horses of a different color. Remember, these idioms aren't just about animals, they're about us, about human behavior and our ways of understanding the world. They make our language richer, more expressive, and a lot more fun. So next time you find yourself in a fishy situation or you meet a leopard that can't change its spots, remember these idioms and use them to paint a picture with your words. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. In the world of idioms, anything is possible. Stay tuned for more exciting videos. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep having fun with language. And last but not least, we have the horse of a different color. No, it's not about painting your pet pony. This idiom has nothing to do with the actual color of horses. Instead, it's a metaphor used to describe a situation that's completely different from what was initially thought. This phrase's roots can be traced back to the medieval times when knights rode horses of different colors to distinguish themselves in tournaments. Over time, it has taken on a broader meaning. Now, if you're talking about apples and suddenly switch to discussing oranges, well, that's a horse of a different color. Here's a funny example. Imagine you're at a party discussing your favorite pizza toppings. Suddenly someone jumps in and starts talking about the environmental impact of pineapple farming. That, my friends, is a horse of a different color. So, next time you come across a situation that's a horse of a different color, remember it's not about the horse, it's about the difference.